There's something inside of me. I need you to find it.
Fatima, there's nowhere else to look.
We need to tell them.
Tell us what?
I need to ask you something. And I need you to promise me that you won't tell anyone.
Yeah, of course.
Do you have any pregnancy tests?
Is that weed regenerating him from?
Probably.
Because damn,
at this point, I'm
Shawty
thinking
is
it
smoking,
is.
and that stuff is still just lasting.
Yeah.
That's got to be the best weed on the planet. Snoop Dogg needs to investigate
What's
weed
going on here?
with that weed. Victor, if you keep bringing your ass down here
We're not gonna let you leave next time.
you're gonna be down here for show next time. Just-
Right. And his supplies, basically. And Henry's looking at him like,
That's the damn supplies.
Right. So
And-
he's getting a glimpse of where his son is psychologically.
Exactly. She told him she's eating these nasty fruits and vegetables. But I doubt she told him she was in there licking that blood in that body. Hello and welcome to another edition of the New Watchers on the Wall. We're discussing episode 6 from season 3. And boy, oh boy, is Donna a hell of a Mason? And why the hell can't Henry shut up when he knows that they're going in these super dangerous caves? But we digress. We got a good bit of information about where the show may be headed as well. But before we get into our recap, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and turn on the notification bell. Our analytics are telling us that 85% of all of our viewers are not subscribers. That hurts. We're going to put you on the box. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. The episode starts off with Jim and Tabitha. They're in the room having a huge argument. And this was really good because I think it provided insight on their relationship before they got to Fromville.
Right. It just looks like that they are dealing with some unresolved issues, and being in this place and having Tabitha leave and then come back is making those issues come to the forefront of their relationship.
Exactly. And Tabitha says something interesting to Jim. She says, "You left me. You threw yourself into work when our son died, and we needed you as a family." And that's a really interesting perspective because, like I said, it's showing us some history of what these families experienced before they got to Fromville, which is something that we really have not got before. It's actually one of the things that I've really always wondered is what these people were like before they got to Fromville and what their lives before, if that was played a part in them coming to Fromville. So it was good to get a little bit of their relationship. So it transitions to Julie. She's walking downstairs to inquire about Jim. Tabitha tells her that Jim went to go get food near that lake. Julie, of course, is like, "Oh, this is what you choose to do at this particular moment, at this particular time." And it's interesting because Julie says, "Well, at least we're back to normal about fighting and arguing."
Right. And she's used to them dealing in a certain way, and she's like feeling like, okay, well, dad's going back to his patterns of behavior and mom is too, so it's like things are back to the way they were, but yeah, so that means things are screwed up. So it transitions to Jade speaking to Boyd at the bar, and Boyd originally thought he was coming because Jade had something really
Great to say.
And Jade is just going off on his circular kind of thought process of what is happening here.
And he's dropping bars, but the shit is just going over Boyd's head. Boyd is more of a tell me like what it is, make it make sense.
Steak, potatoes.
Yeah.
And give me what's happening. Give me the bullet points.
And Jade is talking about all of these metaphysical things, right? He's talking about wormholes, quantum events, rips in time. And Boyd is just like, bro, what are you talking about? Later on in that conversation, Boyd tells Jade that there is another bottle tree and that he pulled a letter out of that bottle tree and it said 1864.
Right. And so this puts Jade in the mind frame of, oh, I got to go find this bottle tree, right?
Yep.
So we transition to Henry, who is in Victor's room, and they have this conversation. And he tells Victor that he wants to walk with him to go to the cave.
And Victor is like, nah, this is not something you need to do. This is going to be dangerous. But Henry says, look, I don't got to go in the cave. I'll just roll with you. And then when you go to the cave, I'll leave. But we all know that that's not going to happen.
Right.
It transitions to Marielle, and she is organizing all of those supplies that they got off of that ambulance. And if you notice, they have stocked up. That thing has gotten like 3 times fuller now out of all the supplies they've been able to pull from that ambulance. One thing that we were kind of talking about off camera is, out of all the people in the town that could be helping to stock that shelf, why does Kenny consistently want to be around Marielle and Christy? If something had happened to me like what happened to Kenny, I would literally want nothing to do to being over there. I would want to just be like, only time I'm coming over here is when I'm sick or something. Other than that, I'm not coming over here, because I'm not trying to get it thrown in my face every single day that Chrissy chose Marielle over me.
So forget the point that she, they had a relationship that was friendly. So fuck the friendship. You're just gonna deuce out just because you can't get what you want.
Look, we can be friends. We can be friends, but I don't need to be over here so damn much. Like, I feel like Kenny is over there just too much, especially after, what he's experienced. And that's just my opinion.
Okay, we can agree to disagree. Boyd walks into the hospital. He sees the results of Randall's face, and that guilt is still kind of festering in him, because it just looks really, really bad. He's having nightmares, and so he just going in to check on Randall, and he leaves, and he's
without saying anything to him.
Not gonna say anything to him. So, but Chrissy catches Boyd and tells him, thank you for bringing the truck in. We got a lot of supplies, and also there was a
ultrasound
machine in there.
Yep. And that's some good information, because she says, go and tell Christy, because we want to get a peek at that little cute baby in her belly. It transitions to Ellis and Fatima. They are discussing whether or not they should get more support. Ellis is telling her, look, something is wrong. We need to get support. But this is the thing that they never tell us. She told him she's eating these nasty fruits and vegetables, but I doubt she told him she was in there licking that blood in that body. And you see, Ellis, he's trying to get help, but she wants none of it. She's hesitant. And that's when we hear Boyd knock on the door, and they are both hesitant to open the door, but they eventually do. It transitions to Donna. She is using rocks to create a grave for Dale. And this is really interesting, because everybody was wondering what were they going to do with the body? Were they going to dig it out? What were they going to do? So we see that her plans is to cover Dale and to cover him so that he has some form of dignity. Tabitha walks up as well, and Donna talks about Dale's quirky sense of humor, and it makes it seem like they maybe had some type of relationship and rapport, because later on we see Donna become pretty emotional about Dale's passing.
Tabitha shares that she feels like she let people down just from what happened in the diner that previous day, which was kind of rough. I kind of feel for her. I understand that she did what she could in that time, and people were really rough on her about it. But Donna kind of gives her a pep talk, saying, hey, you're back here with your family. Be thankful that you got back, and you're not where she didn't say not where Dale is, but look what happened to Dale when he went in that bottle tree. You're blessed. You got back to your family safely.
Yep.
Right.
And that's an interesting perspective, because she definitely is feeling that pressure. But back to that previous episode, one of the things that we felt like she should have did better was gather her thoughts. We do feel like she did come in there kind of rambling. Same thing with Boyd. That you've got to be more strategic in sharing information that is relevant to the people. And I know, like, real quick point, and then we got to keep moving. Somebody on our last video commented, and they said they disagree with us that people need to completely share all of the information, and they were talking about it could create panic. But my question is, what right do people who have information have to gatekeep information from other people in the town.
Mm.
I don't think that that's fair. I think that if you know something,
Say something.
I think you should be saying something. I don't think it's fair that certain people are allowed to gatekeep information.
Right, and you're putting people's safety at risk
Yeah.
at that point when you're trying to hold certain information, hold
Raise your mic
certain
to some of you. Yeah.
things back, right?
Just twist that part. Yeah. And I don't think that it's okay to gatekeep information. I think that if you know something, you should be sharing it. It transitions to Victor and Henry. Henry is asking a million damn questions, you know, and it's like, bro, stop asking all of these questions. Go along for the ride. But to me, this was just a telling event of what was going to happen when they finally got into the cave.
Mhm.
This is when Victor and his father arrived to the cave, and Victor tells Henry, all right, go ahead and head back. But then Henry's like, shit, I lost you once. I'm not about to lose you again. I'm going in this cave with you, whether you want me to or not.
Right. And Victor, he takes out his tin of soldiers.
His G.I. Joe soldiers.
Right. And his supplies, basically. And Henry's looking at him like,
That's the damn supplies.
Right. So
And-
he's getting a glimpse of where his son is psychologically.
Exactly.
From being in this place. So he's getting the toy soldiers, he's putting them down in places so they don't, as markers, so they don't get
Yeah.
lost, right?
And all I can remember thinking when Victor pulled them damn G.I. Joe soldiers out was, damn, that's all you got? At least he should have brought like 100 of them mugs.
That rope that he
Yeah.
had hanging in his
Yeah,
room.
like he literally brought 5
Right.
G.I. Joe
I'm like,
soldiers
what?
and was like, yeah, this is gonna be our
This
markers.
is what we're gonna do.
This is how we moving through this dangerous ass cave.
Where the monsters who are ripping people apart are.
Yeah.
So it transitions to Ellis and Fatima and Boyd. They're sitting down. He's explaining that what Fatima has been experiencing. And Boyd tells them, hey, there's an ultrasound machine in the clinic.
And this triggers Fatima. She's
Mhm.
like, because she wants to know what's going on, but then she
She
doesn't.
Mhm.
So then they said, can we get a second, Boyd? Can you step outside so we can discuss this as a family? Right?
Mm.
And so Boyd walks outside, and when Boyd walked outside that room, I felt it because he leaned up against the wall, almost semi-collapsing, because I think Boyd knows, damn, I may have to make a decision.
Or Ellis is going to have to make a decision. You know, Ellis is going to be in that place where he was when his wife kind of did a mass shooting in the town. So he knows what that feels like to have to put down a loved one,
Yep.
you know?
And it potentially could come, just like what you were saying, to a decision where now they're in a situation where they got to make a decision. Do I kill Fatima? Do I need to kill her? What's going to go on?
Yeah.
And it's going to be tough. So it transitions back to Ellis and Fatima, and he eventually is able to convince her to go visit the hospital to utilize the ultrasound machine.
Meanwhile, back in the clinic, Muriel, who's speaking to Randall about the need to have his wound cleaned, and you need to put this on so you don't get an infection. And Randall he's being Randall. He's got a piss poor attitude in the conversation with her. And Randall asks Muriel, like, why is she trying to act like everything's okay? Why is she acting as if everything is normal?
Mhm.
And Muriel's like just not trying to hear any of that. And she's trying to act like everything is normal, right?
And
yeah.
Yeah, and to me, this is a very good moment because we see Julie having issues. We see Randall having issues. And the only person who went through that experience that seems to be normal is her. But I
Mhm.
think it's because she is hiding something, right?
Yeah.
So this is when he asks to see his wounds, and we see him looking at his wounds, and Randall is really kind of suffering with the realization that, yes, I was left to die out there, and look at the repercussions of my face and my body. On a side note, that cut on the side of his neck looked incredibly deep. I don't know how he even survived that. Now I can understand the cut on the jawline, but
That
Man.
was like his jugular.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
like-
could have. I mean, he should be dead.
Yeah, the monsters were going in with him.
Right.
So it transitions to Kenny. He's looking through the kitchen at his home where his mother, used to live. And he's looking for things. And he steps outside and he sees Julie. She's smoking a joint. I'm trying to understand something. That was the littlest, smallest piece of marijuana I had ever seen. How the hell is Julie stretching his weed like that?
I mean, she's making it last. She don't know when she's gonna get another plant. So, she's smoking this joint outside and having a conversation with Kenny, right? Kenny goes back in the house and he looks at the memorials or the altars of his parents. And he's looking around the house and he's looking like he's trying to make a decision.
Yep. And he's realizing that his home is no longer a home.
Yeah.
He's looking at the makeshift memorial he created for his family, his mom and his dad, and he's like, damn, the people I came into this town with, my most loved ones, they're no longer with me.
Mm-hmm.
It transitions to Victor and Henry, and they're back in those damn caves, marking their past with those toy soldiers.
Henry's not sure about being in that cave. I mean, again, just so you know, remember, Henry, he's new to this town. He's been there for like a couple of hours.
Exactly.
And so he doesn't know, what's happening, but he knows that something is wrong, something is off.
Yep.
But he's not gonna leave Victor to deal with this on his own. But he's in there asking a million questions, like, hey, telling him, hey, we should probably go back.
Yeah, and I was just like, Henry, the man told you this shit is dangerous. Shut the up. Victor reaches a location where he expected Jasper to be, but Jasper is not there. Henry keeps telling Victor, we should go back. Victor says, we gotta go deeper because we came this far. We got to get Jasper.
So going back into where Colony House is, Boyd is waiting outside. And Ellis comes out and he tells him, like, hey, she's coming. Fatima's coming. She'll be out soon. She just, needs a minute.
Mm-hmm.
And then Elgin is inside taking Polaroid pictures of everybody in the house, right? He says he wants to take candidates and kind of, make a collage. He takes a candid of Fatima, telling her, hey, this is what, I'm going to do. And originally, last episode, we thought this was going to be a huge payoff with Julie's picture. And it kind of
wasn't. Yeah, because if you watched our videos before, we theorized that when Julie had her picture snapped, they never showed us her image. And I feel like we thought it was going to be because her image was going to have something wrong with it, whether it was distorted, a monster was going to be behind her or whatever. And that just was not the case.
Right.
So they spent a lot of time in that episode
building it up,
or probably just
it's like a red herring almost.
Yeah, and I think they did that on purpose because everybody was theorizing something would be on the picture and nothing.
And I was saying that it was a little too obvious, our conversation off camera.
Yeah.
So we transition to Jade. He's in the woods. He's looking for the second bottle tree.
Oh, hold on 1 second. We forgot. Fatima finally walks outside.
Right.
Ellis and Boyd are out there. And she begs them to say, hey, do not tell them about the fact that I've been eating these nasty fruits and vegetables.
Right. And so it transitions to Jade in the woods looking for the bottle tree, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so he eventually has, he's seeing things, right? He's seeing bartender Tom, right? Father Khatri is Boyd's kind of like apparition. Bartender Tom is Jade's, right? And so he's, just looking for this bottle tree. He sees bartender Tom and he tells him, hey, he needs to clear his mind. You need to stop drinking, basically.
Yes. And he's basically giving them some encouragement that he has a wherewithal and ability to maybe solve this riddle, which is Fromville.
Mm-hmm.
It transitions to Ethan. He's at that table reading a book that he really can't read because it has the symbols and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
His mother joins him, but she hears a noise upstairs. Interestingly, with this noise, Ethan doesn't hear it.
Is someone upstairs?
No?
Are you sure?
What's wrong?
Wait.
Only Tabitha hears the shit. She goes running upstairs and she sees those damn Chewy children, and they come barging out from different rooms in the house, and one is coming up the stairs, and she's essentially trapped. She
Right.
says her famous
No, 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 no.
and Ethan runs up the stairs and says, "Mom, what's going on?" And Ethan doesn't see anything, and then eventually Tabitha don't, because she's maybe having an hallucination.
It transitions to Donna, who's stacked up all these rocks, creating like this grave, this tomb for.
And it looks so damn
Dale.
good.
It looks great.
And it makes us wonder, was Donna a damn what are them people called, that a
Stonemason?
Was Donna in her previous life a damn stonemason?
So Kitty comes over and shares his feelings about his home no longer feeling like his home, right?
Exactly.
And so he wants to move into Colony House as long as they're not having their sex parties.
And it just highlights something real quick that we've been saying for forever, which is, I just still don't understand why Donna was advocating Julie to live in Colony House by herself.
Julie, who is a child,
Yeah,
who's a
it's-
minor child.
Because if Kenny recognizes what the hell was going on, then Donna knows damn well what was going on, and that was not an environment for a child to be there.
Mhm.
But we digress.
Yes, Tabitha comes into the bar with Ethan and offers to help him solve those riddles. The numbers or the dates that were in those bottles, right?
Yep.
He shares the info about the bottle tree. They feel like they are dates, right? And so he feels like these dates are the key for them to escape, basically.
Exactly.
Right. So it transitions to Muriel, who's
Explain it to Randall that the medicine needs to be applied
Yeah.
regularly, consistently, so that his wounds do not get infected.
and they're just looking at each other like,
And
they
this
wanna
is
be
when Randall
anywhere.
asks that question.
yeah,
Why the hell are you acting like you are okay?
yeah.
And Mariel gets up to avoid the conversation. Randall shares that he is alone and he is forced to remember what happened. He doesn't have the privilege to move on with his life because he is living in the bus by his damn self.
He doesn't get a chance to forget. Right.
And this is when Mariel says, "I can ask Christy if you want to live with us." And we see Randall have an emotional, vulnerable moment. And he says, "Yes, I do
Mhm.
want to live with you guys."
Meanwhile, back in the tunnels, Henry and Victor, they are still kind of looking for this dummy, and Henry still won't shut up.
How many of those little green men do you have?
But they stumble onto the table with the tea set, and they see Jasper. You see Jasper. He's being aligned at the table where he's eating and drinking and having a tea party. And there's also a monster in there with them.
Exactly. And it makes us wonder, who the hell set Jasper up like that? Is there someone living in those tunnels and in those caves with the monsters?
Mhm.
And it goes back to what we said before. Did someone make a deal? Similar to what we saw that Kimono lady said to Elgin later in the episode. She was trying to make a fucking deal with him, saying, if you help me, I can help y'all get out of here. And it makes us wonder who was sitting in there with Jasper set up that pretty ass set, that nice set, having a damn tea party, right?
Mhm.
Victor, go ahead.
Victor grabs Jasper, puts him in his bag, and he turns around and he yells, "Oh my God, that scarf! This used to belong to your mom."
Yeah,
And
Henry
it's
does.
waking up the monster.
Yes.
The monster's moving around, and
And then finally, one of the monsters says some creepy shit. She said,
If you keep coming down here, one of these days, we'll make you stay.
Victor, if you keep bringing your ass down here,
we're not gonna let you leave next time.
you gonna be down here for show next time. The transitions to Randall. He is at the bus. He's packing his stuff because he's about to move in to the hospital or to the clinic. Julie walks over. She's talking to him, and she says, "Look, yeah, I got some stuff to help you calm your nerves." And she pulls out that weed.
Mm-hmm.
Is that weed regenerating him from?
Probably.
Because damn,
at this point, I'm
Shawty
thinking
is
it
smoking,
is.
and that stuff is still just lasting.
Yeah.
That's got to be the best weed on the planet. Snoop Dogg needs to investigate
What's going on here?
with that weed.
Henry and Victor make it to his secret hideout in the truck bed, and Victor explains that he used to hide in here in the days when he was all alone.
Yes.
And
It kind of causes an emotional response from Henry, because he's
Mhm.
kind of like, damn, I wasn't here for my son. But then he starts to explain that back in the day, Jasper used to talk and share information, and we got to get Jasper to talk again. And Henry has this look on his face like, damn, what's wrong with my son?
How? He knows things. Yeah.
He doesn't understand
This-
that this
this-
is a fucking dog.
this place has done a number on him.
Yeah.
So it made me think, like, was Jasper actually really talking?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and was this just part of his imagination?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
Victor tells Henry that, Jasper knows things, and that hey, he used to speak, right? He used to tell these stories. And it just really sounds crazy. And so we transition to the hospital.
Yes. The moment we've all been
Right?
waiting for the hospital scene.
And what did I say last time? What did I say?
You said it wasn't gonna be nothing.
Right. And it turns out it is nothing. Right?
But sometimes nothing is a lot. Because like we said in the video, right? It's only 2 or 3 options, and shit, no matter what the option was, this shit is bad.
Yeah, and so, oh God, they discover that she does not have anything in her belly. There's nothing in there. Fatima, she loses it and forces them to check
Again.
several times, but it's the same. There's nothing in her stomach. She is not pregnant. And remember what I asked you? Didn't I ask you, when did we find out? When did we find out she was pregnant? How did we find out she was pregnant?
Yeah.
How did she know? And I can't remember what happened last season. I know it was last season.
Yeah, remember we
I need to ask you something. And I need you to promise me that you won't tell anyone.
Yeah, of course.
Do you have any pregnancy tests?
we was talking about it
Refresh my memory.
when Ellis got stabbed by Dale and they rushed him to the clinic and they had that crazy night scene driving over into the van.
Mm-hmm.
That's when she said, I was so afraid I was going to lose him. And then she says, I think I'm pregnant. And didn't Chrissy say we have a pregnancy test? I thought she said we have a pregnancy test.
Right.
I thought
Did
she
she
did.
take it?
Guys, check the comment
Please
section.
go back.
Did she? Because I might try to go back and grab it if I have time. That scene.
Yeah, because I don't remember her actually taking a pregnancy test. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But Ellis says we need to tell him, and then
Or
it
tell them.
tell them, and then
Insinuating he needs to talk about the fact that she's been eating dead fruits and vegetables.
and then it cuts away.
It transitions to Elgin, who's hanging those photos that he took. And when he looks at Fatima's picture, that lady in the Komodo appears behind Fatima, and then she appears in real life, and she hugs him, and she does something that we have been questioning and inquiring about for so time, which is, are people going to did people in the past make fucking deals? And what is the Komodo lady say to him?
I can help you.
I can help you get out.
I
if
can
you
help you get
me."
out if you help me. Help him. Help her do what? What is she trying to do?
You tell me, because it's evident she wants him to make a deal, right? It
Mhm.
transitions back to Ethan and Jade. They're chilling, they're talking, they're looking through those numbers and stuff, and they notice that some of the numbers are written backwards, and they're looking for these patterns.
How do they know that they're written backwards?
I guess if the 7 is backwards, or if the
Oh,
whatever,
okay. I see what you're saying.
yeah, like the 7 was written
Right.
backwards or whatever.
Right.
Jade sits down, he's talking to Tabitha, and he says, look, I don't think the kids are here to hurt you. And Tabitha's not sure. Tell me what you said about Tabitha and Jay's relationship.
I think that they're going to end up having an affair.
From the very beginning, and if you go back to our old videos, we said this about Jade and Tabitha. What season was it that they were getting real close?
Season 1, I think.
It was like
No. It was 2.
I can't remember, but season 2. I nevertheless,
Yeah.
early on, I was like, their relationship is getting too damn close. To be a married woman, I was like, she's spending too much time with Jade.
In the bar.
Excuse me. And you're right. That's when Jade was up in that bar. And a couple of times, I think they had a drink together.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's nothing wrong with them having a drink together. Everybody's grown here, right? But because of that argument that they had at the beginning of the episode, it just shows like, yeah, I mean, they don't actually have to be together. I mean, they were planning on this road trip was the last hurrah of their relationship, and they were going to get a divorce. She was going to get a divorce. He didn't want to get a divorce, probably because he didn't want to be anyway. And so she is looking at these drawings, right?
Yes.
She's looking at these drawings and she recognizes it, right? And
it gives her a flashback. And she recalls those 3 large red rocks. She recalls seeing one of those scarecrow-looking statues. But she recalls seeing it.
That's the drawings. It's the scarecrows, right? I guess we can call them scarecrows.
But the flashback, she is actually a kid, and she's saying that I used to see these things as a kid as well. Just like Victor's mother.
I used to have these dreams, these nightmares.
Yep. And they're hinting at some stuff we feel like in this episode. And it could be a couple of things. People have theorized this. Some people said is Tabitha Victor's sister, on a different timeline. Jay was talking about wormholes and different theories and stuff like that. They're starting to kind of put some things on the table, I believe, with this type of information. What do you guys think that meant when Tabitha said she saw these things in visions and nightmares in the past? What do you guys think that means? Right? Because, and like I said, even with Jade, and he was talking about, like explaining things to Boyd, I feel like we're kind of starting to get some information here, a little bit, so to speak. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.
Please.
What are your thoughts about this episode? What burning questions do you have? Put your questions and comments below, because in our midweek video, we will be featuring your comments, your questions, your theories.
We're going to get
the
into
top
it.
Ones. Yes, we're going to get into it. To wrap it up, Candace, what is your rating of the episode?
Because of the beginning of the episode with the fight, I'm gonna give this episode a 7.5 out of 10.
Yeah, 7.5 out of 10. Yep.
How about you?
I like what you said. They're giving us a little bit of details, a little bit of information, and we're moving forward. I feel like we're moving the plot ahead a little bit at a time.
I mean, it is a snail's pace, but I mean, at least it's...
I think I'm going to go with you anywhere from like a 7.5 to a 7.8. But the one thing that at times does kind of get me, and you guys put a comment below and tell us what you think. Do you think they bounce around too much? I feel like, they'll have one scene showing Boy. Then you jump to another scene, Kenny and Julie. Then you jump to another scene, Randall. Then you jump to another scene, Victor. And it's that.
I think that can happen on an ensemble cast,
Yeah, but I don't know. Sometimes it wasn't as bad this episode, but there have been some episodes this season where it felt a little jarring. It felt a little jarring, like why
disjointed, kind of disjointed.
Yeah, but nevertheless, I'm glad that it seems like we're starting to maybe get some information about wormhole theories or whatever. But it could be that, or it could still be like that symbiotic virtual reality type relationship thing too, because it makes me wonder. And somebody put this comment on our video. What are your thoughts on this? They said they didn't think that it was possible for Victor to live 30 years by himself. And the more and people are like, well, he had the boy in white's help. Well, shit, was the boy in white cooking? Was he, you know what I'm saying? Like, so much goes into being able to survive and live on your own, you know, in the middle of nowhere. And it's starting to make me wonder, did Victor really last 30 years by himself? Or does he think he lasted 30 years by himself? Did some things happen? And he has repressed memories.
We need a bottle episode where they're just following Victor throughout this alleged 30 years. You know, like we that's what I really want to see.
Because if you think about it, that is somewhat unrealistic that a child could live for 30 years independently. And some people are like, well, yeah, the boy in white helped him, but shit.
How much can an apparition do?
How much help can they really give him? You know, and then just even when Victor was like, I used to hide in this shelter. The monsters this season have been showing that they know things that occur in the daytime. So could Victor really hide in that shed for 30 years with no townsmen?
Yeah, they were letting you live.
For 30 years. He lit, and all he was doing was hiding in that, supposedly, with no townsmen. And the monsters, we have seen the monsters know things that happen in the daytime when they shouldn't. So how would the monsters, over the course of 30 years, 365 nights a year, 30 years, not figure out that he was staying in that thing?
And what happened to all those bodies?
Yeah.
A
lot of questions. Nevertheless, thank y'all for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, please. And turn on your bell notification. Help us out. We're trying to put in the work. We're a small channel. We don't get videos months and weeks in advance. So we're crunching out content as much as we can. As always, our watch has ended. Peace.